It's that time of year again. As you can guess, it's been a rather busy week. That didn't stop me from making progress though. I set aside time specifically to work on some much needed fixes for both the S4 and the TT. We're working on both cars today, and trying to get as much done as we possibly can before the holiday, starting with the TT. A while ago we tested out some aftermarket side skirts on the TT and they were kind of iffy. Turns out I was able to find not only an OEM one for the side where the issue is, but one that matches my paint code, and it was free shipping. So it was kind of a no-brainer. I'm not gonna get rid of the aftermarket ones right away. When we wrap the car, we may end up throwing them on just to see what they look like for fun, and if we want to put more time into them, we can, but for now, we have an OEM set and something to run no matter what, and I think it's gonna look a lot better. I'm really just stoked I was able to find one for such a good deal. It's not always easy finding good quality used OEM parts for old cars like the TT, especially ones where there really weren't that many made. So finding one that's not only in better condition than the one I have and matches the paint code that's on the VIN is a pretty big deal in my mind. I've had my eye out for a good deal on one of these since I bought the car, and that time has finally come. Those aftermarket side skirts we threw on a while ago are great for the price, but they're not OEM. Their fitment's off and they would take a lot of effort and work to get to look good, and even then, the styling does kind of contradict what's already going on with the car. I'm not saying we're never gonna run them, but what I'm saying is the primary side skirts for this car are gonna be these OEM ones, especially since this matches the paint code. And this OEM replacement is way better than I thought it would be. This thing is in killer condition for the price I paid for it, especially with no shipping for a part this large. But issue, well, not really issue, but a concern of mine is it is in a nicer condition paint-wise than the rest of the car is, which could look a little goofy, but it is notably shinier and glossier because this piece hasn't been resprayed versus the car has by the previous owner, so it may stick out a little bit. Still better than dented and gashed like the piece that's on it though, so we're gonna throw it on. The install for this piece has not changed since the last two times we had this rocker panel off. If you turn your wheel in, you can actually do it all without raising the car or removing any tires, so it's pretty simple to do, making it a great candidate to try to get done during the week of Christmas. So let's talk about the one downside of replacing this with a good condition factory piece. It seems like it's a complete win, but there is actually one con. I touched on this briefly, but this piece is in the factory paint code that this car came in. This car, however, is not. The car has been resprayed by the previous owner, and its paint is not exactly in the best quality, which is why we've been looking towards wrapping the car. Since this piece is so much better than the one that was on the car, it's gonna look great when it's wrapped. I say when it's wrapped because color matching is really difficult, and based on how the paint that the previous owner paid to put on the car is holding up, I'm guessing the color match is of the same quality. Since the rocker panel hasn't been resprayed and the car has been resprayed, I'm guessing it might be a shade lighter or a shade darker than what's on the car. I know it's not a major deal and it's close enough that 90% of people wouldn't be able to tell in real life, but it is going to bother me a little bit, so we may expedite when we do the wrapping of this car, which I guess isn't a bad thing. It just means this car is going to look a lot cooler a lot sooner. I don't really plan on taking this OEM piece off anytime soon, so I want to make sure the fitment of this is good and everything is back in its proper place. I scraped off all the old adhesive and I'm planning on using 3M double-sided tape. One of you guys actually suggested that there's a better way to apply it than taking off all of the red strip. I absolutely love it when you guys give me suggestions that are good ideas, and this is definitely one of them. Rather than taking the entire backing off, you simply take part of it off and push it outside of where the piece is actually going to be applied. Then you can simply pull on it after it's in the right position rather than trying to readjust it when it's already stuck down. This is definitely one of those situations where you don't realize there's an easier way until you do the easier way, but I highly suggest you do this if you use 3M double-sided tape in the near future. I am always happy to receive suggestions and try them out, so thank you. If you guys have any other suggestions, definitely let me know. I could not be more excited to see the dent on this car that's been on it since I bought it finally fixed. This was a good choice, and I'm glad we went the OEM route. The fitment is perfect, as you would expect since it came off of a Mark I TT of the same year. As far as the color though, it is different. And boy, is that actually really irritating to me. I knew this car was resprayed, but this is absolutely a confirmation of that. These silvers are close and 90% of people wouldn't notice it, but when you see it, it's hard to unsee. Thankfully, I've got a plan for this, so hopefully it won't stay these two colors very long. Either way, I think this is a great step forward for the car, and it looks a lot better than the gash in the side. Winter has been shockingly kind to the S4. Other than a few random issues that have to do with the cold, this car's handling it like a champ. So there's nothing broken that we have to fix today. In all honesty, today we're pampering this car with some preventative maintenance. The simple yet effective maintenance upgrade I have for the S4 today is an oil change. I was told this car's oil had just been replaced before I bought it, but I beg to differ. We've had a few other high priority fixes we needed to work on, so this got kinda shoved away. I think now is a great time to take care of this, and honestly, oil changes on this car are extremely simple. Once the car is decently warm, you open the oil cover, and then you can start draining it. The plug and the filter are both extremely easy to get to on this side, and you hardly have to move the oil tray when you're draining it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly worried there'd be metal flakes in the oil. I blame YouTube for that. I watch way too many YouTube projects where that happens all the time. Thankfully, all that came out of the S4 was dirty, used motor oil. Not even a little bit of shimmer or a little bit of milk, so I think this car is actually quite healthy, which makes me ecstatic. To do this properly, I'm replacing the drain plug, and I bought myself a new oil filter wrench. I've never used one of this kind before, but honestly, it works really easily, and at least on this car, it's pretty convenient to use. So much for this oil being changed right before I bought the car though. This is clearly not new oil. After letting the car drain until it was dripping, we were ready to start putting things back together. I threw in the new drain plug and torqued it down to 22 foot-pounds, and then went ahead and hand tightened the new filter after lubricating it. If you've never done an oil change, it's important to take a little bit of the new oil and lubricate the rubber gasket on the new filter before installing it. This helps it seal and at the same time makes it easier to remove it the next time you do it. You also just need to get it hand tight. These are German cars, so they get German oil. This is Liqui-Moly, and it's kind of the go-to standard for a lot of Volkswagen, Audi, and BMWs. At least that's what I use, and it's what I've seen a lot of other people use. Once the plug and the filter are in, we're good to throw in 6.9 liters of our new oil. Then we can start it, check the level, and check for leaks, and we're good to go. A simple yet really important maintenance item checked off the list. It's been on my to-do list for a while on the car, and I'm glad we finally made time for it. It provides so much peace of mind. Now we check for leaks and check the level, and we're good to go. The level was good and there were no leaks, meaning we're good to go, and this car's oil was successfully changed. Because I tend to be a paranoid individual, I'm going to check the level again later in the week just to make sure we don't have any leaks I didn't see at the time being. But overall, this is a big success. When it comes to projects, consistent progress is, in my opinion, one of the most important things. Even though what we did this week was minor, both of these cars are better than they were before, meaning our week was absolutely successful. Just like what we did last year, I'm thinking next week we do a retrospective type video where I talk about what we learned through this year of the channel and what my plans are coming forward for the next year. I've got some pretty fun ones, and I'm definitely open to suggestions for videos that you would like to see or cars you want to see on the channel. I've had an absolute blast of a year making these videos for you guys, and I'm excited for what I have planned going forward. And it means a lot to me that you guys are excited too. So, thank you. There we go. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like and subscribing for more. I've got a lot of projects planned for these cars over the course of the next year, and I am excited to bring you videos every week. And once again, happy holidays for whatever you celebrate this time of year. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.